What's going on? NBA skills coach Drew Hanlen back with episode 6 of my Micro Skills Michael Jordan breakdown series. Today we're going to talk about Michael's great ability to play defense off the ball. You guys saw in episode 5 how great he was on the ball, but he was just as good and just as active off the ball, which is what we're going to go over today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is fighting in the post. He was not one of those people that just allowed, easy post catches. You can see him right here swimming around, constantly battling in the post. He did this every possession. You'll also see a ton of poke steals. So right now, he's not just quarter fronting. He's actively trying to get steals, trying to get in that passing lane at all times. Same exact thing right here. There was no such thing as an easy post entry against Mike. You can see right there, does a good job of getting that, outside hand in the passing lane. Right here, he swims around. So again, he's just one of those guys that, he was never going to allow something easy. He loved to shut down opponents. And one of the ways he did that was by fighting around in the post, making sure he made it super, tough for the passer to get it post entry pass and for the offensive player to catch it where they wanted. Second thing that he was really, really good at was shooting the gap. This just means basically anticipating passing lanes and getting steals. You can see him right there, break the passing lane, get a gap steal. Right here, you can see way before even the pass happens. So they're still fighting for a rebound. Mike's in the paint. Look at him start anticipating where the ball's going next. Some of this is just IQ. Obviously, he was really athletic, but IQ put him in the right position at the right time. You can see right there, didn't fight through and try to go around. He ended up shooting the gap right there. And you can also see that he always had his eyes, on the ball. He was able to see both the ball and his man so that he was able to anticipate what was going to happen next. You can see over and over again just him jumping that passing lane. Here as a gap defender, staying home, being able to anticipate where it's going. No such thing as a cross-court pass against him. This one's super impressive. You can see, right now he's not even in the frame. He's all the way past half court. Ball goes. Can't throw a bounce pass against him, just as athletic as he was. Right here, he ends up getting beat on a back door, still shoots the gap. But really, he was like a great defensive back in football, was always anticipating what was coming next and was trying to put himself in position to force a turnover or force a steal. Rotational steals, this is something a lot of players do not like doing. A lot of players, kind of have a my man philosophy. Look, Mike's not even in the picture. What does he do? He rotates over and gets a steal. Same thing, different clip, same result. You can see him all the way in the paint, but still helping out his teammates. I know that a lot of coaches preach this and a lot of players think that, they're too cool to help their teammates out, but MJ was one of the best at zoning up. So right now you can see he's responsible for two guys. He's guarding the corner shooter, but also he's helping out. You see his player, is all the way on the other side of the lane. So what does he do? He zones up and guards two and ends up coming up with a steal. Right here you can see him just in the right position at the right time. He sees a split of a trap and he rotates up and is able to get a steal. Active hands, we talked a lot about this in the on-ball episode 5, but look at his active hands. As soon as a player got their hands on the ball, he was able to disrupt that by getting deflections. So good at swiping up too. Ideally, you're swiping up. It's harder for the refs to call foul. If you swipe down, sometimes you end up hitting players on the arms. If you swipe up, a lot of times you're not as likely to get a foul. So he's really good at that as well. You can see as soon as the ball goes up, he's trying to hawk the ball. Again, pops it up. Here, this time he does swipe down, but gets his hand on the ball. Look at him sprinting back in transition. So look where he's at. He's behind half court. He's a couple strides away, but he sprints back in transition, is able to get his hand on the ball as well. Again, he just played hard. He played with that intensity. He wanted to take the ball away from his opponent every time he was on defense, which just made him special. Jumping the handler, this is something super impressive. You can see him, on the right side of the screen right here, looking as soon as he saw that, he could get a steal. He was always sprinting up and trying to make that happen. Right here, again, anytime an offensive player turned their back, he was able to hawk them down and pickpocket them. Right here, a front trap, which is even harder to do because they have vision of you. And then this one was really special. You can see he's leaving a player that's, open under the rim, but because he saw he could get a steal, he made it happen. Getting through screens, this is something super impressive. The first one, he's getting skinny and getting narrow. So you see him trailing behind, getting skinny right there. You can see him getting low, dropping through, really kind of lowering that shoulder so he could get around the screen instead of getting hit by the screen. Gets through 3 screens right there and then is able to block the shot from the side. This one right here, you can see him shoot the gap. So just like we talked about earlier, look what he does. He doesn't get hung up on the screen. Instead, he shoots that gap and turns it into a transition dunk. So again, a lot of you guys have seen that highlight dunk, but you probably didn't know that it was because he was able to get through screens on the defensive end. Right here, look at him get skinny again. So he never gets hung up on screens. He gets skinny, is able to shoot that gap, and then end up getting a dunk on the other end. Shot blocking from help side positions. Again, he was such a team defender. Look at him right here, rotating over, blocking shots. And obviously he was super athletic, but he was always in the right position. He was always rotating. Look at right here, he's guarding the ball. So again, he's pressuring the ball, and then what does he do? He drops down, comes down, and helps out. Dropping to the level of the ball is such a big key on defense if you're trying to play good team defense. He was always rotating towards the ball, always helping out his teammates. Right here, you can see him blocking another shot. MJ was just such a good help side defender because he was always aware of where the ball was and where it was going to go next. You can see him jumping before the shot even happened. So look right now, he starts jumping up. And then the shot happens. He's already up over. He was able to hang so long, which was, super impressive as well. Look at all these rotating shot block abilities. Again, they're trapping him. So he's got two of his teammates that are already, occupied with the post. But here comes MJ out of nowhere to block the shot. Same exact thing right here. Didn't matter what his teammates were doing. All he was trying to do was help and try to get the job done. Again, look at MJ. Rotates over and is able to block the shot. Such an active defender. Here he is on the weak side, rotates over. He's never afraid of getting dunked on. He was always trying to make things happen. So right here, he does his job. He sprints back in transition. A lot of defenders would have said, okay, he's got an easy kind of 2-on-1 scenario where he's probably going to dunk it anyway. But what does MJ do? Not afraid to get dunked on. He jumps up, gets a block. Rotates down right there, gets a block. Here, look at him. Look at his eyes this whole time. So even though he's got a cutting defender, he feels his cutting defender, but his vision is on the ball and is able to rotate over, trap, and then get the block shot. Chase down blocks is what we're going to finish up with. He was so good at sprinting back in transition. Look at the frame right now. MJ, two hands, block right here. Look at him sprinting back. And you can see, offensively, you think you've got an open layup in transition. You see the offensive player speed up right here. Stockton sees him. It's an uh-oh moment. MJ gets it off the glass. Same exact thing right here. Comes from behind and blocks a shot. Again, rotating back, sprinting back, leaping up, helping out. He was so good at cleaning off the glass. This one's the most impressive clip. Look at the offensive player. The offensive player has their elbow over the rim. MJ's still down. What does MJ do? He's not worried about getting dunked on. He jumps up and swats it before he's able to dunk it. Same exact thing, blocking shots off the glass. You see his hustle back. This is something a lot of elite players don't do. They're just too cool for it maybe, or they just don't think it matters. But MJ always made a priority to never let that team get a bucket. Right here, sprinting back. Really good at timing up to. This one, obviously a famous play. He sprints back, he gets a steal, turns the ball over, doesn't give up on it. Instead, sprints back and hawks it down. Whether that's a steal or a block shot, it doesn't matter to me. You guys can see the energy that MJ played on defense. I know that you guys know how gifted he was offensively, but now, hopefully, after watching Episode 5 of his on-ball defensive presence and Episode 6 with his off-ball defensive presence, you guys see how truly gifted MJ was on both ends of the floor.